Hello, everyone. Welcome to Charlene's World. Thank you for stopping by to listen to me. I am in a place in my life where I'm very grateful for the things that life threw my way. I've endured a lot. But today I was just sitting here thinking about people being in toxic relationships. I know a lot of people that are in toxic relationships, and it boggles my mind that when they're in their 30s and 40s and 50s and even 60s and 70s, that they're just okay. They know it's a toxic relationship, whether it's a husband and wife or a boyfriend and girlfriend or a living partner, but they just accept it like this is what it is. This is how their life is going to be because they love this person, and they'll just deal with some of the bad behavior because when you think about it, the person is good person, loving person. I love him, makes me happy. But there are times that he or she can be annoying, could be abusive, can be toxic. And so I wanted to make this video because I myself was in a toxic relationship. I was married for 10 years and dated him for 3 years before that. So we're looking at 13 years of toxicity. But my reasoning for doing that, I met him when I was 18. And coming from my parents' household, which was very strict at the time, I couldn't have a boyfriend until I was 18 anyway. So prior to that, it wasn't happening. But then when it did happen, I ended up with an older guy. So in my eyes, I'm like, okay, well, I'm 18 and he's 24. I got a mature guy. So I was all into myself. I just felt like I was the stuff. Because for at least 2 or 3 years in my high school days, I couldn't get a boyfriend. Well, my parents wouldn't allow it. But even if they didn't allow it, you know, back in the days, you could do stuff and your parents wouldn't have a clue. Well, so I tried to put myself out there, and nobody was giving me the time and day. I was their home girl. I was their homie. If anyone was to mess with me or whatever, these guys were like my brothers. They wasn't trying to holler at me. So the guys my age wasn't attracted to me in that way. And I could only think of 2 reasons. One, or maybe 3. One, I was shy and quiet and gullible. 2, I didn't hang out. I didn't go places. I didn't go to parties. I didn't wear the latest fashion, you know. And 3, gosh, in my old age, I'm forgetting stuff. I forgot what number 3 was. But anyway, we'll get back to it. So my thing was, number 3. How could I forget that? Number 3 was I wasn't developed. When I was 18, I was a stick. Like, no curves, no boobs, no backside, no hips, straight stick. And I think that played a part in my insecurities. It played a part in me not being happy in my own skin or in my own body. And then guys my age looked at me as their homegirl. And then because my parents were so strict, I couldn't do some of the things that my friends were doing or going where they were going or wearing what they were wearing. So I was like the oddball. I was like so out of place. So when this guy who's 6 years older than me took an interest in me girl, you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing, okay? I was in love with the fact that he took interest in me just the way that I was, plain, you know, and that was my motivation. That was my motivation to get up and live, because I had a man, a guy that was 6 years older than me, that took interest in me. And in my mind back then, that, you know, I thought he loved me. So there comes a time in that relationship where he becomes really, really comfortable with me, and I become comfortable with him. And I'll say this: I became so comfortable with him that I allowed him to tell me how to dress, if I should wear makeup, how I should do my hair, if I could hang out with my friends. Like, I don't know, I was young and dumb and thought I was in love, and I just ate it up. Like, I thought those things meant that he cared about me, he loved me. And pretty much he'd say, you know, well, you don't need to wear makeup, you know, you got a man. You don't need to dress like that, you got a man. You don't need to go to the club with your friends, you got a man. Why are you hanging out with them? You got a man. So in my mind, I was like, I got a man. You do all those things because you're trying to get a man. Well, I got a man. I don't need to do all those things. So he manipulated me, and I began to pretty much live my life for him. And then I find out that he's abusing drugs. And by this time, I love this man. He could do no wrong. And because he's older, I'm figuring, you know, he has wisdom. But this guy was on crack. And me coming from a family that was so strict, and we didn't drink and smoke and hang out, and, you know, we came from a good family. Let's just put it that way. We were raised very well. And to find out that my man is on drugs and he's smoking crack, well, that was a big hit for me. And I went through a lot. I went through a lot with him. A year ago, if I were to tell you my story with him, I'd be in tears, or I'd be pissed off. But today, it was a lesson learned, you know. And if someone is going through a situation, they're in their 20s, you know, late teens, early 20s, hell, 30s, 40s, I don't care. If you're in a toxic relationship, you know you're in a toxic relationship. And you know you don't need to be in that relationship. That toxicity in my life from the age of 18 until I divorced him at age 30, 31, I've endured not only verbal abuse, but I endured financial abuse, meaning I worked, I took care of the bills. I was the breadwinner, by the way. I was the breadwinner. I worked 2 jobs. I paid for all the bills, took care of daycare, food, car note, groceries, house note. I did all of that. What was he doing? Nothing. And again, that's where I realized that I gave him too much power, and I did too much for him, and he didn't really help me. And then I remembered what the Bible says, you know, don't quote me, but basically the woman, or the wife, I should say, is the helpmate. Not the wife is out there working and struggling and providing for her family, and the husband is the helpmate. That was all backwards. So my household was messed up. My mentality was messed up. My me not having a voice was messed up. But I can tell you, when I got my voice, all hell went loose. That was in 2001. I can't forget it. It was right after 9/11. Everyone who's alive right now know about 9/11. And right about then, with 2 kids, a mortgage, a car payment, a great job, I was like, I'm out. I am out. I wasn't a paralegal at that time. I found a paralegal and she prepared my divorce papers. But when I say this man was toxic, financial abuse, he would take the money out of the bank account, bounce checks. Back then you would bounce checks. Bounce checks. I had all these NSF fees. And he would literally give me allowance. I made the money. I worked that week and got paid. And I put the money in the bank account to take care of bills, write out my checks. And then he would turn around and give me like $10 for the week. Like, what the hell is that? But because I wasn't in a secured place with myself, I took it and I was okay with that until I got smart. So during the course of that, it was the physical abuse as well. I had a gun put to my head a couple times. I got beat up and dragged up the stairs, 2 flights of stairs, by my hair one time while I was pregnant. I had got ran down. He chased me in the car. I was on foot twice. I mean, I've been through some stuff. But looking at me, you wouldn't tell. You couldn't tell. So I say this to say the verbal abuse is going to escalate to something else. Become physical. Physical can become fatal. During this time, if you have children, not only is it messing up your mind and you feel low as far as your self-esteem, your kids, even though they may not see it, they can hear the arguments, they can hear the bang on the walls, they can hear the fighting, your kids know when something's wrong with mommy. You can't possibly fake that. You can't. I thought I did. I didn't fake it. My kids were 5 and 6 at the time, or 6 and 7 at the time, when I actually fought their father back. This little girl fought him back. Oh yeah, it was like the last time he was gonna put hands on me. And I fought his behind back. And my son was right there. My son was right there. And I think he was traumatized. There's some things you could do behind closed doors where the kids can't hear too much or see too much of it. But even if they didn't see it, they could feel your energy. Your energy is messed up, they feel it. If it's great, high vibration, they feel it. So when you're not well and you're their caretaker, they checking up on you. And my kids checked up on me. And I felt bad because that wasn't their place. Their place was to be a kid. And I forced them into a life. Well, I can't say I forced them. I stayed in a life that was not good for them or for me. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard, but a person who's been abused by their mate leaves several times before they finally make that move, a permanent move or permanent leave. And I left, 5 or 6 times. Back then, the kids and I would hop on a Greyhound, go all the way back to New York, spend 23 hours on the bus, 2 different buses with 3 children, Yeah, I did that. And luggage. I did that several times. That was my I'm leaving. I think the first two was like, I need a break. My third time, I was like, I'm leaving. Then I get the phone calls. Oh, baby, I miss you. I'm gonna do better. We'll go to counseling. I'll never lay a hand on you. I love you. I can't live without you. All this bullshit. And me, I want my marriage to work. I want my kids to have their dad. We got a lot vested in the relationship, in the marriage. And so I went back. Only in a few months to be right back in New Jersey. So, like I said, after 4 or 5 times of that, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm over it. I'm done. And when you get to the point of you saying you're done, best believe you're done. Yeah, you're done. And to this day, since then, we've made amends and became friends. But then when my children calls him up because, there's an issue between me and my children, he steps in and want to play daddy. He was never daddy the whole time I was raising them by myself. So when he wants to step in and have a say-so, that's a problem for me. And that was a trigger that I realized I had. So we don't speak just because he's a trigger. But other than that, I'm happy. And I will never be put in a situation where I'm going to allow anyone to be disrespectful to me. You're not going to be disrespectful to me. You're not going to call me out my name. I'm not going to have words for you. I'm just walk away. Because it ain't that serious. So I'm telling you that if you're in a situation, start making your plans to be gone. Your life, you and your children's lives are worth more than a man. There's so many good men out there. So many fabulous women out there. You don't need to stick or stay with the one who's abusing you or making you feel unwanted, unhappy, unworthy, stupid. We get all of those. I see movies, I hear people talk about it. Get out. That's it. There's so many places that you can go to with your children. Just go. Leave. Another reason why I say that my relationship too, my stepfather was gone because my mother and him got divorced. So he left the household when I was 16. So he was not really around. My biological father wasn't around. And I had older brothers. I had 3 older brothers that were not around. No diss to them, but they were grown, married, children, living in a whole different state. So I'm not putting any blame on them for that. What I'm saying is my ex-husband didn't have anyone to hold him accountable for how he mistreated me. So because my dad wasn't in my life, my stepdad wasn't playing an active part in my life, my older brothers wasn't, in my life, he felt that he can use me and abuse me, and I had nobody to run to. So it was just me. So imagine when we relocated from New York to Michigan, where I have no family, I was in a terrible place. There were times that I didn't even have a house phone to call 911 because I paid the bill, but it bounced, so I have no phone. And now when I piss him off, according to him, when I pissed him off and he gets loud and want to put hands on me, I didn't have a phone to call 911. So that was a tough one. So I teach my kids right now, both my son and my daughters, you don't need to deal with none of that. I pay the price so that you don't have to. So anyone out there that's in that situation, you need to leave. Point blank, period. And I don't know who this was for, but God laid on my heart today to make this video because someone needs to hear it. You are worthy of love, true love. You are worthy of being happy. And you are worthy to be respected. So if you're not getting that in your relationship and you have to question that, or you're making excuses, about the relationship, it's time for you to leave. Thank you for watching my video. Like, share, and comment below. Share this with anyone you think might benefit from listening to it. This happened to me back in 90, tell my age again, back in 92. So yeah, toxicity is all around, every age group, every background, every nationality, every kind of relationship. So if you're in one, it's your time to get out. Love you guys. Take care and be blessed.